of Town Board.
Sorry about that.
I'm recording now. Okay, good.
Yeah, I always forget that it says that.
All right. It is October 12th, Tuesday. And I'd like to open up the Town of Olive Town Board meeting. Can we all put up the flag here and say the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Dawn, I see you're here and you're ready to do the roll call, I presume?
Yeah. Board Member Bogus,
I'm here.
Board Member Kelder,
Finally here.
Board Member Ettinger,
Here.
Board Member Reed,
Here.
Supervisor Sefranco.
And I'm here.
And I don't know why there's two of me on here, but apparently I'm in here on my screen anyway.
In stereo.
Yeah.
Pick up the other one.
Okay, I'd like to start off with correspondence we received. The Malloy family has sent us a thank you card for acknowledging Jack's passing, Jack Malloy. We received correspondence from Ulster County Executive Pat Ryan expressing his gratitude for the 9/11 memorial ceremony at Olive Day and how much he enjoyed being at Olive Day. We received a variety of letters, or emails, I should say, pro and con, and comments on the short-term rentals, including a letter we received from Sherrod Chase, who was opposing many of the STR proposed regulations in our proposed regulations. And we received a letter from the Ulster County Electrical Licensing Board advising the town for the requirements of the electrical licensing law that will take effect on January 1st, 2022. Everyone needs to be licensed by then. And the building department has been notified of that. This one here, I've been asked to read this letter. This came in late. This is a letter from former Supervisor Sylvia Roselle. She asked that I read this letter publicly to the board. So I will, being that it's Sylvia, I will do that so I don't get in trouble with it. Your supervisor and town board members, I'm going to try stay respectful and calm in writing this letter, and hopefully I can refrain from using any four-letter words. But it is difficult to do so due to my anger at town officials and town employees who don't possess common decency and concern for the welfare of the public or for their fellow workers. Simply wearing masks indoors and getting a COVID vaccine is a very simple thing to do. Why one would feel their personal beliefs outweigh the personal safety of others is beyond my understanding. It's still a small town, and the landline phone number I've had since 1978 is still active. I'm fortunate to have built relationship with many Olive residents over my 37 years working as their elected official. Several of the West Shokan office town employees I've worked with for a couple of decades are like family members to me. Since the pandemic, I've received phone calls from residents questioning the safety of going to primarily the town clerk's office, whether it be for a handicap parking permit, hunting license, dog license, or burn permit. Knowing that it's questionable if the two town employees in that office have received COVID vaccines, I tell them that except for the burn permit, they can do the other business by mail. I followed the advice that I give to town residents and got my dope permit online from the DEC. When it came to the burn permit, I opted to simply call in my burn to fire control. I didn't go into the office to get the actual permit for fear of potentially being around unvaccinated employees who I've witnessed in the past not wearing masks. I figured that if I received an appearance ticket, I would simply tell the truth in court. I don't want to be around anyone who is questionable or as to whether or not they are vaccinated and potentially expose myself to COVID. I am personally vaccinated, but do not want to get sick or even worse, become asymptomatic and unknowingly give the virus to another person. I am thankful that I chose not to go into the clerk's office to get a burn permit, or I could be one of the public scrambling to find a rapid COVID test, as West Shokian office workers have had to do this holiday weekend in order to be with their families. I know the persons who have contracted the virus is to be confidential, but this is occurring in a public building paid for by the public, and the town should be looking out for their public welfare. In fact, information that there are positive cases in the town of Olive offices and highway departments should be posted on the website and on the office doors. Other businesses have done this in an effort to curb the spread of the virus. The public should be informed. It's one thing if these self-centered, inconsiderate public employees get sick and die, but to put others in that position by not adhering to wearing the masks or not getting vaccinated is despicable. I strongly urge the town board to mandate COVID vaccines for all town employees, elected and appointed. And if they refuse, appointed employees should be relieved of their position. If an elected official refuses, they should immediately resign. A COVID vaccination card or Excelsior pass, New York will confirm whether or not the employee is vaccinated. I know there are a lot more town residents who share my concerns and support this request. I respectfully urge you to put the public health interests of the town of Olive residents first and mandate COVID vaccinations and mask wearing. You'll be doing a major service for everyone. Stay safe, be well, and thank you. Sylvia Roselle. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to budget modifications. In the highway, make a motion to increase D 3501 CHIPS revenue by $165,496. Increase D 5112.2 CHIPS. I guess that's improvements expenditures by 165,496. Transfer $206,000 and $207,363 from D5112.2 CHIPS improvements to D5110.4 general repair by highway superintendent's request. I made a motion to transfer or make those budget modifications. Can I get a second?
I'll second. Drew.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So passed. In the general fund, I make a motion to increase A 2680 insurance recoveries by $7,400. Increase 7140.2 playground and recreation facilities by $7,400. Transfer $750 from A 1990.4 contingency to A 1460.2 records management. Transfer $4,000 from 1990.4 contingency to A 8020.1 planning, and transfer $5,000 from 1990.4 contingency to 9050.8 unemployment insurance. Can I get a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And no one opposed. Okay. We've all had a chance, with the exception of Scott. He didn't get in, but we had 3 board members approve payment of the audited bills, general fund vouchers 408 through 451 for $41,925.90. Highway fund vouchers number 197 through 221 for $71,262.76. Can I get a motion to approve payment of those audited bills?
I'll make a motion to pay our bills.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we had cash received in August 2021 for $162,628.54. We had interest received in August of 2021 for $589.20. Okay. Hey, Dawn, did I do the September minutes? Did I
No,
get it approved?
No.
No? Okay, I'd like to jump back to that. I realized I just missed that. I'd like to get a motion to approve the September minutes we received. You all had a chance to look them over. Dawn got them out early.
But did you get to, I sent out today the public hearing ones. It took a long time to get done.
Let me do this one first and then I'll make a motion for that one and see. I did
I-
get that.
Yeah, if you guys aren't prepared to make that motion, we can do it next month. It's not a big deal, but I just wanted to keep all the September minutes with the September.
Okay, let me
That's
see what they
fine.
say. Let me do the September minutes, town board meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Sure, I'll make a
Motion
motion to
to
approve the
approve.
minutes.
Wow, I don't know who said
We-
that.
I think we got Scott and David at the same time.
I
so
can
I'm
have
gonna
it.
put-
I'll second.
I'm gonna put those two down.
Okay, and did you all receive the public hearing minutes? They were actually pretty good. I was really impressed that you were able to get that done.
Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to read them.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
No,
You guys want to put it off to next month?
Please.
Okay, we'll table that till next month, Dawn.
Okay,
We need to vote on this, the September town board meeting though.
we just did this.
Oh, we just did the,
town
I'm
board
sorry,
meeting.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Sorry about that. I'm getting ahead of myself here. All right, I'm moving back down to additional business. I do see that Dawn Whitaker's here, and I apologize, I haven't been able to, I realized that you wanted to speak at a meeting, and I never got any information that you were gonna be at one, but I did get a text at the last minute that you were here. Did you want to address the board now, Dawn? Maybe you can unmute her if she's muted.
Actually, I'm not Dawn Whitaker.
Oh, you're not?
No, I am not.
No, I thought you were. I'm sorry. Well, I'll hold
No,
it off till
that's
later.
okay.
then. I saw Dawn Marie. I said, is that Dawn Whitaker? All right. We'll table that for now. Okay. Going back to additional business. You have received resolution number 23 of 2021. Let me explain this a little before we go into it. The American Rescue Plan Act allows for the town board to recognize employees who worked during the COVID crisis, and we chose a time period between March 11th, 2020 and March 3rd of 2021 to look at our workforce and see who was working and who had a lot of exposure to the public. And also in the ARPA, is what they call that plan, guidelines, they talk about looking at the people who were not only the people dealing with the public on a daily basis, an ongoing basis, but also giving preferential to the lower paid workers. So I did an analysis of different departments, and in the some departments, I simply took the amount of hours each employee worked during that time and multiplied it, as we discussed at an earlier board meeting, of $1.50 per employee. And then and I capped all of these at $1,000. And then when we did areas like the town office and things like that, I did flat numbers because it was too hard to ascertain, because people were here for half the work week and not. It was staggered and they didn't have as much contact with the employees. I will say that there is the possibility of expending some funds to the Olive Fire Department and to the Olive First Aid Unit. I'm looking into that. I'm not going to include it in this resolution, and as well as all the other first responders in the town. I did not include any elected officials on this because we had the option to be there or not, and so forth. So the Town of Olive resolution number 23 of 2021 reads as follows: premium pay for workers under the American Rescue Plan Act. And this is long, so bear with me. Whereas on March 11, 2021, the American Rescue Plan Act was signed into law to establish the Coronavirus State Fiscal Recovery Fund and Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Funds. And whereas the SLFRF program is intended to provide support to local governments in responding to the economic and public health impacts of COVID-19 and their efforts to contain impacts on their communities, residents, and businesses. And whereas the SLFRF program funding can be used to provide premium pay to eligible workers performing essential work in recognition of the increased risk they face during COVID-19. And whereas the town board of the town of Olive recognizes the employees below as meeting the SLFRF qualifications of essential and eligible workers to protect the health and well-being of the residents of the town of Olive. And now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Olive authorizes the supervisor to pay the following premium pay stipend on the November 8th, 2021 payroll for the following town workers employed during the time period between March 11th, 2020 and March 3rd, 2021. I'm going to go through this whole list, so bear with me. Transfer station, we had Bruce Proper for a supervisor for $1,000. Jesse Romano as attendant for $1,000. Dennis McKay as attendant for $1,000. Joseph Schwal as attendant for $1,000. Bradley Clinton for $200. Richard Fisher for $20. Building department, John Ingram, code enforcement officer, is $1,000. Dominic Cavello, the building inspector, is $1,000. Brenda Van Leuven, the building department clerk, was $350. Janelle Perry, the planning zoning secretary clerk, is $250. The supervisor department, Rebecca DeGandia, clerk to the supervisor, for $250. Janice Lanzarata, bookkeeper, for $250. The town clerk department, Amanda Winnie, deputy town clerk, for $350. Assessor Diana Carchidi at $250. Carla, the clerk to the assessor, what's Carla's last name? I'm drawing a blank. Help me out here. Dawn. Can you unmute Dawn for a second?
Should be able to.
I gotta
unmute
put
him.
this in here. What's Carla's last name?
Carla Madsen.
Madsen, right. Clerk to the supervisor, $250. Thank you. Little typo there. Recreation, Jean Sorbellini, $350. Rayla Clark, pool attendant, $314. Veronica Kivlahan, pool attendant, $83. Dara Allison, lifeguard, $43. Noah Berlaku, $244. Nico Berlaku is $234. Luca Berlaku is $253. Paige Madison was $36. These are all lifeguards. Alana Wood was $386. Ryan Wright was the head lifeguard, and she comes in at $518. And Jessa Zeigmund is a lifeguard for $134. Blake Overton, lifeguard, $350.
Can we correct that spelling there?
Where's that?
Black Overton instead of Blake.
Oh, yeah, okay, thank you. My spell checker. Thank you. I read it right, or I said it right.
Yes, you did.
Shane Callahan, lifeguard, $115. And Betty Lorenz, pool attendant, for $6. Facilities, we looked at, again, the hours is Ruth Williams, $548. Deborah Scheringer, $574. Blaze Sava at $479. Carl Swenson at $150. In the highway department, the highway secretary, Sierra Smith, $250. The court clerk, Virginia Wiswell, at $250. And Lucy Van Leuven for $100. I'd like to make a motion that we approve that resolution number 23 of 2021. Do I have a second?
I'll second. True.
Okay, Dawn, you want to do the roll call for that?
Board Member Bogus,
Yes.
Board Member Kelder,
Yes.
Board Member Edinger,
Yes.
Board Member Reed,
yes,
and Supervisor Sefranco.
Yes. Thank you all. Moving on, ever so onward. Resolution number 24 of 2021. This is in doing our job search for the position of bookkeeper, one thing repeatedly kept coming up was the benefits package that made people think twice about taking the job. That was mentioned several times during the interview process or after the interviews and further discussion with people that we offered the job to. And I'd like to make an amendment to the 2019 Compensation and Benefits Manual. So this is resolution number 24 of 2021, resolution to amend the 2019 Compensation and Benefits Manual. Whereas the Town of Olive Town Board adopted Town of Olive Compensation and Benefits Manual on December 10th, 2019. And whereas section 5.1 of the Compensation and Benefits Manual makes medical insurance available for full-time employees and eligible family members. And whereas section 5.1.5 premium payment hires after 7/1/2001 states, quote, for an employee hired into a full-time position on or after July 1st, 2001, the town pays 100% of the monthly premium for individual coverage. In the event the employee rolls in a two-person or family plan, the town pays 50% of the difference of the premium between individual coverage and dependent coverage. That's the end of the quote. And whereas the contract for the union represented employees of the town caps the maximum employee contribution at $500 per month, and whereas section 5.1.6 of the Compensation and Benefits Manual allows the town board at its sole discretion to change the amount of insurance premium an employee or elected official is required to contribute. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town of Olive Town Board adds the following language to the Compensation and Benefits Manual, section 5.1.5 premium payment, quote, notwithstanding the above, the maximum employee contribution is capped at $500 per month, end of quote. Can I get a motion to move that?
Move.
I'll second that.
And a second, great. Dawn, would you do the roll call, please?
Board Member Bogus,
Yes.
Board Member Kelder,
Yes.
Board Member Edinger,
Yes.
Board Member Reed,
Yes.
and Supervisor Sefranco.
Yes. Thank you all. You know, I just wanted to go back. I forgot in my notes here, just for everyone's information, for a family coverage, for a three-person coverage, what we've changed that amount was previously $756.95 per month. Now we brought that down to $500. So I do thank the board that, and I think that's makes it equitable with the highway employees. Okay. Stuart Grant of the Board of Assessment Review. It was his term was expiring, and I talked to him, and he was interested in going for another term. So can I get a motion to appoint Stuart Grant?
I'll make the motion to appoint Stuart.
Okay, can I get a second? Sorry?
I'll second.
Thank you, Scott. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. At the last board meeting, I had a typo and read it wrong, and it wasn't what I discussed with the employee for the building clerk. I'd like to make a motion to amend the building clerk pay rate to $21.50 from what was previously $21.40. And if that would be applicable at the next pay period. Can I get a motion to amend that pay rate, please?
I'll make the motion to update the pay rate.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you. All right, we received 3 RFPs for cleaning the office. We've done this last year as well, and we decided to put it out for bid again. And the person who is currently cleaning our office decided not to bid to put a quote in for the RFP. And Dawn, we received those bids on 9/24/21. You opened the bid package at 2 PM, I believe. We received 3 bids. The first was from Summit Services from Westbury, New York, for $1,039.20 a month for a weekly cleaning. The number 2 bid was Into the Catskills Cleaning for $300 per week or $1,200 per month. They are from Olive Bridge, New York. Number 3 was Scrub Masters Plus Corporation for $2,270, $5 per month. And that they are from Kingston, New York. So we didn't have a workshop meeting last night, so I'd like to open up for discussion and hear any comments the board would have on this.
What is our current rate that we're paying?
This is Gene, by the way. We are currently paying $240 per week.
Okay, so this will be an increase probably. All right, thanks.
So
So
my question would be for the one that's out of town, are we confident that they'll be able to service us regularly on if they commit to us, or if we commit to them? I don't know if Gino can answer that.
Well,
You spoke to them. You
Yeah.
might want to address them.
Yeah, so let me just give you some of my conversations, my questions, and my input. I asked the exact question to all vendors. They all assured me that they would have coverage, as you know, that would be their talk track, obviously, when they're bidding for business. My reservations about the company from Westbury, Long Island, they are based out of there and they sublet, so to speak, that work to somebody they can find in our area. So they would not commit to me on who those people are as of yet. They said they would be able to find people and then have the work done. So in my previous role in another organization, I always found that to be a little troublesome to deal with a third party, not necessarily in our backyard, to address any issues. The other company based out of Kingston, same situation. They don't really have a staff. They sublet it out, once again, to other vendors, basically, same situation, a little bit more local. The vendor in Olive Bridge currently does numerous cleanings in different areas within the western part of Ulster County. They're based out of Olive Bridge, as Jim mentioned. They have a localized staff of 4 people, and they are insured and bonded. So that's my input. And I think, you know, obviously we're looking for cost control, but we also look for the best value. So you have to weigh all of that out and what actually makes sense for us or anyone to manage.
my recommendation, based on Gene's input, along with my own belief, I think we should be going with the Into the Catskill Cleaning local company. We should support local companies when we can. And I think based on what Gene said, we could make the case for best value.
I can also say that I haven't worked with the other 2, but I have been on houses that I've worked in when Into the Catskills Cleaning is working. And I can tell you that one of the people that, I don't know if she's a principal or works for them, is somebody who was born here, raised here, went to Onteora. So they are very local, and I can highly recommend the work they do. I was pretty impressed with it.
I also like the fact that they don't need to find somebody to subcontract with,
Yes.
like the other 2 companies. And so I would be in favor of the voice for the company.
We can end up with the same cleaner we have now unknowingly.
Right, and just one point too is that most of the cleaning takes place in usually off hours. So we have to trust the individual or individuals to be in our facilities when there's minimal or no supervision. So I'm a little leery of, once again, a company based out of, you know, Westbury, Long Island, to find a person that we're comfortable with having in our buildings.
I would agree.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to accept one of the RFPs there and award that bid?
Well, I'll make the motion that we accept the bid from Into the Catskill cleaning for $300 a week.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So carried. And they will start at the first of the year, Gene, is that correct?
Yes, we do not have what I guess you would call a formal contract, but I think good business practice is that we would finish out the current term with the current contractor and then start for January 2nd with the new one.
Okay, and if there's any kind of issue between now and then, we have the flexibility to roll over to the other one. We can pretty much.
Right, I would reach out to the selected vendor and see if they were able to step forward and do it sooner.
Just to, some clarification, we addressed summer and rec and bathrooms. That's all addressed in their bid.
No, this is strictly for all the office buildings. The park staff did a great job this year at maintaining the bathrooms and the shower rooms. So this is strictly just for our main buildings, office, Legion Hall, Highway Garage, and Courthouse.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. We did this last year. The Ontario Central School Boosters Club has requested that we they want a game of chance permit for the town of Olive for the 2021-22 school year through the 2023-24 school year ending June 30th, 2024. Which is 2 years, 2 school years, I guess. Does anybody have a problem with that? In terms of the duration? All right, I don't have a problem with it. I'll make the motion to approve that. Does anybody else want to second that motion? Any other discussion on it?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, we're moving along here. Oh my gosh, I don't have her name with me.
Marlene,
What's that?
Marlene is last name.
Marlies
Is it Rosier? Rosier?
Rosier. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, I forgot that folder. I just suddenly had a panic attack. So after many weeks, I would say many months of a job search to fill the position of bookkeeper in a town, filling a position that Janice has had for like 25 years, which is a really big shoes to fill. We went through, as you all know, many people we looked at and many people we interviewed and many we offered the job to. And for various reasons, it didn't work out. But we found somebody who I think the wait made it worth it. She is young and she is energetic and she's smart. And I think she's going to do a great job. So I'd like to make a motion that we hire a new bookkeeper at the rate of $30 per hour, starting October 25th in 2021. Her name is Marlies Rosier, by the way. And can I get a second for that?
I'll second it.
Okay. And she will be starting October 25th. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
She'll
All
be-
right.
She'll be missed by her former employer.
Yes, and we have a new bookkeeper, and I'm telling you, she is just raring to go here, and I can't wait to work with her because she brings a nice energy to the office.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on to the the planning board a few months ago, maybe a month or two ago, asked us to look into the possibility of having a projection system in the town hall, meeting hall. And we looked at it and we had HRT look at it and they gave us a price for a projection system. And they gave us a price for a system with 2 monitors, one on each side of the bench facing the audience. These are 65-inch monitors. Yeah, LEDs. That would be, we'd have to provide a source for them and then we could do presentations. We can stream with them from, the internet to have remote seminars and things of that nature and training sessions for the police and for the court and for all of the agencies and committees in the town. When they came in, they gave us that one and then they gave us the TV, and I wanted to get a second quote from another vendor. So we reached out to a really great vendor, Daryl Scraggs, who did the library projection system, which is really top notch. And we came out with trying to do apples to apples. We came out with a projection system and we came out with 2 LED televisions. So I'm going to open that up for discussion since, again, we did not have a workshop meeting. 1, do we want to do this? And 2, what do we want to do? We want to do this.
I think we should do it. When you said we have to supply a source, you talking about a computer?
We have to, yeah, either a computer or an internet connection for the Wi-Fi, for the Wi-Fi. I believe the TVs are Wi-Fi driven. I think if we were to do a projector, there would probably be, and we want to do streaming, that would require another device in between,
Yeah.
which is not included in this bid. If we were to do the projection, it would be, if Gene, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the screen would be up by the bench, and the members of the bench would have to come down and sit in the audience, watch the presentation and come back up. The monitors on the side gives us the option of, they'll be on swing arms, they can tilt, and turn so that we could have one facing, they can be angled a little toward the board so that you could see them from the bench, hopefully. So I didn't know what you all thought about this.
So I'll weigh in that technology is changing all the time. LED screens are so much nicer than projection. I think projection is kind of going the way of the dinosaur. So I would suggest the 2 monitors.
Yeah.
It'd be
I
big
can
enough
agree
as
with
both
that.
of them.
Actually,
Oh,
usually
there is-
inclined towards projection, but in that room, I think the monitors will work better.
Okay. I did want to mention on all of these quotes, they do not include an electrical installation. So there will be a cost to supply power to either the 1 projector or the 2 monitors.
Mhm.
But it does provide cabling down to the floor. What's that?
Supervisor can do that.
On all my spare time.
He's
I'll do that.
qualified.
He's licensed.
Yeah, he's licensed.
I was licensed. All right, so let's say we've all agreed on the LED monitor scenario, and we have 2 bids here for that. One is from Daryl Scraggs is $4,395, and the one from HRT is $3,877.50. They're both Samsung 65-inch TVs. One specifies a model, the other doesn't. They are very close. They're very closely related here in terms of what you're getting. I don't see much difference in terms of the materials. Scott?
Did we get any feedback from the planning board or the court system on what they would like?
I think they're happy with anything. When I did talk to Steve a little bit about it early on, and he liked the idea of the wall mounted. He thought that it gave us a little more flexibility. I think I might be putting words in his mouth. It was a while ago, but I did confer with him a little bit and tell him we were thinking of moving on this. I mentioned it to Tim. I don't think he's on here anymore.
Yeah, I'm still
Okay.
here. The camera gave out for some stupid reason. No, it's
It's not
they're
a
not gonna,
Samsung, is it?
they're not gonna stay there in place, right? Are they gonna be mounted on the wall behind?
It will be mounted on the wall on the, near the steps on each side, and they will be on articulating arms.
Okay,
when
so
they're-
one in
when
one in
they're not
front of the
use,
witness
They would
stand?
just fold against the wall.
One person at a time, okay? Tim, what was your question?
So probably Gino's about to answer it. So they would sit like in front of the witness stand, right on the bench there and be attached to it?
They would be attached to the wall.
So in front of each mural, towards the back of the room, past the murals?
Yes,
Yes.
No,
Okay, but not against the curtain wall?
I would almost, this Gene, my estimated location would be almost with the steps as you go up to the bench. When an articulating arm, as Jim mentioned, when not in use, they would just go flat against the wall. The reason for that positioning, that would allow whether it be a judge or the town board to still be able to view it. It would need to have to go that far back, so you would have viewing from the bench, whether it be a judge, town board, or even the audience. And then, like I said, they would fold flat when they're not in use.
Sounds great to me. I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure they're far enough back when we do have people detained coming from the jail that it's a little ways away from the jury box. It doesn't sound like it's an issue. So thumbs up.
No, and the nice thing about them is you can articulate them to be like, if you just need something for the bench to see, no matter who's up there, planning board, we are up there, and you need one for the audience, you can turn them whatever way is convenient. And, that seems to me to give us the most flexibility. And as Scott was mentioning, I think the projection systems are kind of older technology.
Thank you for the answers.
So is there a preference of the two vendors? I mean, they're only separated by a couple $100, so I wasn't sure if that makes a difference. Or
So
they just-
Daryl Scraggs did the library, he did a really bang up job. I will say that none of these contain a sound system either. I believe they're going to be using the sound from the TV. So that could be something we have to address later if
Most
there's,
TVs have
if we
pretty
start-
good sound these days. You shouldn't
if
need more
we
than that.
start using them with sound, it could be an issue. What were you going to say, David?
Most of the TVs have really good sound these days. It shouldn't really need additional beyond that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know these
and-
TVs exactly, but most of them have excellent sound.
I'm going to bring you in there and let you listen to it if it's not. Um,
Well, if for some reason sound became an issue, you can get a sound bar that attaches to the bottom of one of the
Right.
monitors.
$100.
For
Or
like,
do remote speakers. There's a number
Yeah.
of ways.
yeah, I mean, I think that's a minimal concern. Like Dave said, the sound usually on a TV is decent. You're not looking for high fidelity. You're looking for some type of, most cases, voice, which needs to be clear and crisp and not too bassy. For trainings or anything like that, I think that'll be plenty.
And I would think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you were to use a projection system with a laptop, your sound would be coming out of the laptop, wouldn't it?
Correct, or, basic computer speakers attached to that laptop.
If it's
Right.
HDMI, it'll actually go through the TV. You can have the sound go through the TV.
Right. All right. So the difference in the I was talking a little bit about the difference in the vendors. Daryl Scraggs has not worked for the town, but he did some fine work at the library. HRT has done, is our technical support for our server and does all of our work in the town facilities. So we have a good track record for them, and their price is a fair amount cheaper. So I'd make a motion that we go with HRT for the 65-inch LED monitors. and have them awarded this quote. Can I get
I'll
a second?
that.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So carried. Okay. I know, Vicky, you asked me about the ARPA money.
Yes,
You know what? You're all welcome to delve through all that ARPA material and see if you can come up with a story. We can look at this stuff as we go on. I'm trying not to drive what we do by the money, but drive what we do by the need and see if the money fits it
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Although I might contradict myself in the near future, so don't hold me to that. Okay, that's done. Okay. While we're on the topic of ARPA, we have our friend Simon Gruber, who has done work with us when we did the pitch for the Nature Conservancy grant, which we did not receive in Boyceville, but who then we hired to work with who was that? Chazen, their new name, I forget, Labella. And Simon worked with Labella, and they did the grant proposal for the comprehensive plan grant that we applied for through the consolidated funding application for New York State Department of State about 3 months ago. So I reached out to Simon because we all had an interest in doing some work in the back of, at the facility there in West Shokan, at the town office. There's a number of projects or a few projects that could qualify, but the research needed to investigate whether those projects would qualify or not would have to be fairly extensive and knowledgeable. The ARPA money is allowed to be spent on consultants to help you with the process. So I asked Simon to look at it because we were talking about using the salt shed. My couple of hours looking at federal documents did not give me any more clarity than when I started about whether they would qualify. Simon believes, I think, that they would. We got an opinion from the Association of Towns, a quick read from them that said they wouldn't. So he's been doing a little bit of research on it already and has an angle on it, and as well as the paving of the parking lot where we dug up to put the septic tank and the line out to the waste field, the leach field out in the park there. That needs to be paved, and he believes that if we approach that in a particular way, that addressing not only the paving of a sewer project, which are kind of eligible in this, but also to address the stormwater issues by diverting the stormwater into our stormwater tank over there where we diverted it early doing this, that we might be able to make a clear case for that being refunded by the ARPA money. So I think that's great stuff. And I sent you all the proposal. He initially wrote it to the end of the year. I said, we're going to be swamped at the end of the year. He extended it to January 31st, 2022, to look at these things and help us identify. And he did not make it specific to watershed issues or water quality issues. So we might be able to pick his brain between now and then for some other thoughts that we have on this. Any thoughts on this?
I think it's a good idea. Especially since we can use the ARP money for it.
That's what I was gonna say. I wasn't
Yeah.
clear on that until just now. That definitely makes it a great idea.
Yeah, and you can see in his proposal, he's a good writer. I recognize that in the other work that we've done with him. He knows how to look at a project and hit all the key elements to make it attractive for grants and make it attractive to writing a narrative that will back up our spending of this money and use of the funds. So I'd like to make a motion that we sign this agreement with Simon for $1,900 as a consultant for the ARPA funding. Can I get a second?
I'll second
I'll
that.
second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. All right. Any opposed? So carried. All right. We're moving along here.
Hey, Jim, I got one quick question back on another issue. On the projection that we just approved, is
Yes.
that money coming out of the budget or is it coming out of the reserve?
I'm sorry, which money is that?
For the projection, the 387750 for the TVs?
That's probably going to come out of buildings. I don't know yet. I have to talk to Janice, and Janice is barely here anymore. So
Okay, all right.
I'm working that out with her. She didn't think it was a problem, but we'll figure out where we're going with it.
Should not qualify under ARPA also,
That's
It
what I,
might.
once we do it.
It
Yeah.
might. You know, what I'm saying is you can all look at that thing, and if you have an angle on it, let us know. You know, it's involved, and it's, 5 people looking at it rather than just me is good if you have the time. I think it might. I think there's a case that might be made, but I'd have to look at more detail on the ARPA. The ARPA is very much related to COVID-related things, with a few exceptions. The having those monitors in a hall can help with remote training, but you're still having people in the hall. So it's a little bit wishy-washy. I'm not sure yet. I don't want to make a commitment one way or the other either at this point. But it's certainly a possibility. All right. Where's Tim? Is he here still? Tim Cox? No.
You dropped.
Nope.
Oh, I get to make his big announcement. Oh, no, wait a minute. I have a couple other things. Brian was interested in purchasing a New Holland C337 compact track loader for the highway department. And I'm going to let him talk a little bit about that. He sent us, he sent me a thing. I saw it. You want to talk about it, Brian? We have to unmute him, please.
You should be able to unmute.
Good, Dave. Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I said this is a piece of equipment that is originally not budgeted for at the beginning of the year. We have been running into issues, as I think everybody's aware, with availability of vehicles. Our last 2 dump truck purchases have run into the oncoming year for purchase. But anyway, looking forward, and I'll get into more of a discussion with this with our budget talks and discussions. But anyway, we ended up paying for the latest dump truck out of our reserve that we've been putting in the money to pay for equipment needed in the future. But anyway, there's some money in the equipment lines. This piece of equipment, a lot of people refer them to as a Bobcat. A lot of people know them as compact track loader of recent. It's a rubber tracked skid steer Bobcat. Multiple attachments that can be added to this machine over the years. Very user friendly. We do a lot of paving work that requires overlays, and this piece of equipment versus doing a thin skim coat just to kind of get us through the next year. This is something we can grind the asphalt down, put 2 inches down true, and it'll last a lot longer. There's a multitude of uses for this machine. We've rented them in the past for our transfer station repairs, a mini excavator that I'll talk to the board about in the budget discussions. But anyway, this machine we've rented in the past from different companies to address our repairs. And I think this is a versatile piece of equipment that can be used in all departments. Obviously, it would be a highway purchase, but anyway, with the money where it's sitting right now, there's several things that this is not a replacement. This is new piece of equipment, and I think it can make our highway department more efficient. The excavator I'll discuss in our budget as a future purchase, but I certainly think this will definitely be a saving cost-saving piece of equipment. And I think we're in a position to purchase this piece of equipment. And right now, I have a demo model we received last Friday. I should have it till this Thursday. The milling head, if anybody's not that doesn't have the knowledge of that piece of equipment that is on the front of this machine, it's for grinding asphalt when we do paving projects, whether it be a joint to an adjoining driveway, a county road, whatever it might be. It makes for a smooth transition. You're getting a true couple inches of asphalt versus feathering it out and it gets tore up by the plow and so on and so forth. But anyway, I truly feel this piece of equipment is needed. This milling head that is outfitted on the machine right now is the one that is quoted. The guys, after running this, and a neighboring town has a similar grinding head, and they're not too thrilled with it right now. So I would ask the board, I would love to see this thing approved this year. I would love to see it this month, but at the same token, we're looking at getting another milling head to try and make sure it suits our needs moving forward. I just don't want to, the machine itself, I think is a fantastic machine, but like I said, moving forward, there's lots of uses for this piece of equipment in all areas of our town. And I know.
Brian, excuse me, you had mentioned that this might be able to be used on the transfer station, on landfill, where we have the problems there too.
Absolutely. And I think I got you some numbers, Jim, on our future repair here that I've been working on, and I'll bring you up to speed on that after this. But anyway, in the past, it's probably close to 10 years ago, I'm throwing a number out there right now, but we rented a mini excavator, skid steer, and a track dump to work on our landfill where there was costly repairs, and we were able to do it in-house. And I think the recent quote for these two pieces of machinery were right in the neighborhood of $7,500. So that would be right off the bat a savings that we can work in-house for our repairs. Some we're hoping to do this fall on the transfer station cap. Weather is a big variable there, and hopefully the rest of it we can address in the springtime. But anyway, I think this piece of equipment will serve us well for a lot of years to come. It's something that I've really would love to seen numerous years ago, but it's one thing at a time. And like I said,
Brian, how much are you asking here, Bernsey?
no, it's costly. It's $95,576 is the machine with the milling head, which that's a $20,000 option in itself, and the water system that keeps the dust and makes it user friendly for the guys. They're not ingesting all the particulates and whatnot, and the people surrounding. But what I would like to do is table this to next month. And I know I proposed this. Everybody's been busy and a lot going on in the offices, and I would like to see if we can't get another milling head that suits us better and come up with a better number and get back to the board next month in respect to this. But there is money in the machinery lines to purchase this piece of equipment that would serve the highway and other areas, other departments.
Brian, it's Drew. I got 3 questions.
Yes, sir.
If we purchase it, do you have a place to put it where it's out of the weather?
I would make it. It's a small enough piece of equipment that under our overhangs, I would love to see it indoors, but that may not happen, but it would be under an overhang.
Okay. And what's the delivery on this? Can you get it right away, or is it got a long
This is
delivery?
something I'm going to bring up in our budget meetings. Equipment, and I think everybody's kind of got a grasp on this with vehicles. It doesn't matter what it is, with computer chips, the whole 9 yards. All this stuff is so difficult to kind of peg. This particular piece of equipment, we would have an option in November. The salesman said there'll be 2 coming in. This is a purchase through Sourcewell, which was formerly NGPAA, which is a procurement that we can purchase through a cooperative instead of competitive bidding. So we would have availability in November if I were able to act on this. And I think if it's something through this process here, I can certainly obtain it in this year. But I said, equipment, vehicles, trucks, I said, it's, like I said, I'll discuss that more further in our budget meetings, but it's
Right.
obtainable this year.
Okay, so my third question is, we're sort of counting on 175,000 unexpended balance. This doesn't have any impact on that number, right?
It does not.
Okay,
My
good.
secretary and I, through our budget process, have weeded everything out, and a big thing was our CHIPS reimbursement. What we budgeted originally and what we received was a bonus, and I expended a lot of funds early on with anticipation of receiving or submitting and getting an early reimbursement in September rather than December, which we normally can't achieve. And we're in good shape there. I held back on a lot of spending the last couple months to wait for that money to continue on. And right now we're in really good shape in that respect.
Okay, thanks.
I'm
Hey,
curious,
Brian, okay.
I don't know if this works, but with specialized equipment like this, is it worth doing any sort of sharing with neighboring towns kind of thing, doing a partnership?
Something like this, I don't think so. There's certain equipment, I'll be honest with you, and I've discussed with neighboring towns on pavers, on certain equipment, but some of this stuff, I don't see being shared. And I'll be honest with you, we got a great group of guys, great group of operators, and there's a lot of towns and there's a lot of young adults training and whatnot, and there's certain things that I would not loan out or share, but there's other pieces of equipment. I think as we move on, we're going to be in a position that it's in the best interest, but at this point in time, this piece of equipment, I don't think so. And it's I don't think something should be shared.
So you don't want us to act on this tonight?
I do not. And then I'll be honest with you, I would love to table this till November's meeting. And I would like to bring the board up to speed as hopefully we can obtain a different milling head to try out on this model. The machine itself, like I said, certainly supersedes my expectations, and I think will serve the town of Olive well for years. But the milling head for asphalt work, I would like to get another demo model and from a couple different companies and try that out.
And Brian, this is a smaller machine, right? So it has a little more flexibility to do things.
Absolutely.
I have a small machine, and my question always is, because whenever I want to use it for something else, is, are you going to have to buy a trailer for this? Does it have a trailer that you can
No,
utilize?
I'm trying to think. I don't know if it's my first year in office here, but we did buy a tilt bed, 8-ton galvanized trailer that will accommodate that. And when I bought that trailer, it's a galvanized unit, should last us for a lot of years. And this current weight of the new machine will trailer on our current trailer
Great.
with no issues.
All right, so we'll table this till next month, unless there's any more discussion on it. Okay, thank you. Good work.
you.
I'm glad you're taking a month to do your due diligence and check out that miller, because
No, absolutely.
we don't want to get stuck with something that we don't like.
Absolutely.
Now I get to do the announcement for Tim Cox, who's not here, is the Boy Scouts, are having their annual spaghetti dinner at the Olive Bridge Methodist Church on Saturday, October 30th from 4 to 6 p.m. There you go. My plug for them. The next item, I'm going to go to the supervisor's report. I'd like to just report on the outcome of the UniFirst uniform contract arbitration. As many of you know, we weren't satisfied with the uniform company that we were getting service from for the highway department. And in 2019, we tried to terminate that contract, and we had to go to arbitration because they wanted money from us for terminating the contract. And I have to give a high commendation to the highway department, especially Sierra and Chris Winnie and a couple other people who were involved in this. But Sierra did great record keeping. We talked about it early on, and I said, make sure you have the records and documentation of every exchange with this company, because we're going to end up in court or something. And she already had it, and she did a great job in maintaining that. And I think that was very persuasive to the arbitrator, because at the end of the day, the arbitrator looked at this, and the claimant was asking us to pay for $9,829.65 in unpaid fees for the remainder of the contract. We did agree that we would owe them $2,227.36 for the uniforms that had names and logos put on them that they couldn't reuse, plus interest, and a small little $104.43 payment as well. So we were, that was the determination of the arbitrator, that we didn't have to pay for that. And then the discussion came around to who pays whose attorney fees. And it was our understanding from the contract that that our attorney fees should be paid for by the claimant, that they violated the contract. We wanted to get out of it, and they went to arbitration, so they should pay for our attorney fees. So we took a gamble and we brought it back to arbitration, and they ruled in our favor. We were really lucky. So we saved, at a worst case scenario, we could have paid their legal fees, our legal fees, and the arbitrator fees, and it would have been pushing, well over $20,000. And if we had lost it, it would have been $30,000. So thanks to Dan Hepner and his team at his legal firm, the claimant was ordered to pay our attorney fees and pay the arbitrator fees for almost $11,000. So we got out of this just paying for the uniforms that we put our names on. So we're very happy with that. We had a big savings in court, in litigation, or in arbitration on that. So thank you to everyone involved, especially the highway department.
Yes.
Jim, if I can just touch 1 second.
Sure.
I got to commend Sierra. I'll be honest with you, through this whole process, and it started a long time ago. And her documentation through this, and which Dan commented as well, it brought us to this point of being awarded and getting out of this awful contract. And I want to thank Chris Winnie on behalf of the highway guys for coming to the arbitration and supporting this case, because it was unfortunate, very unsatisfactory service for a long period of time, wet clothing, missing clothing, and it's just not what the contract was. And it's unfortunate that we had to devote this amount of time into something like this that should have been granted. So I want to thank everybody, Sierra, Chris, all the guys, for all their input.
Great. Thank you. Any comments on that before we move on?
That's great news.
Okay.
We finally won something in arbitration.
I know.
Yeah, hallelujah.
There was a little bit of a gamble there to get that money out of their pocket, but it worked in our favor.
It does prove one thing. You got good documentation, you got a better chance.
Yes, it does. Moving on, as you might recall, that for the last few years, as we were doing the Bushkill project with the New York Rising money that Sylvia got years ago, that project is almost complete. It should be closing out in the next few weeks or months. And along with that, Sylvia was able to have an obligation from the Ulster County Department of Public Works for a contract with them to, I think it was, I don't have the amount in here. I believe it was $250,000 to kind of guarantee $250,000 if the money that we had in our block grant wasn't enough to cover work on their bridge, inspection and things on their bridge. We look like we're going to be doing well on this and closing out soon, but I did feel until we see the closing of that project, it was time to renew this contract with this agreement with Ulster County. Doesn't cost us anything. It's just another piece of paper shoveled in the finance department. So I did sign that contract for another year. Just wanted to let you know that. The other thing that we had come up recently is we had a switcher changed out in the town office for our server and all our network, and in the town facilities at Watson Hollow. And there is a Cat 5 line that runs from the switcher up on the supervisor office all the way back to the highway office garage. It goes through the ceiling, down through the ground, across the parking lot, into the building, back up into the ceiling, across half the building, and then down. The maximum length for Cat 5 is generally considered 300 feet. I think we are pushing 300 feet or more. And when we upgraded the switcher in the town office, because it was failing, we went to one of newer technology, which provided a faster speed. And when that faster speed was available, it bottlenecked the cable. It showed us the drawbacks to having that cable in there. And it was painfully slow for Sierra and the highway department. It's been just terrible. So I asked HRT to look at it. They proposed what they call a wireless bridge and forget the cable and just do a point-to-point wireless beam across the highway parking lot there. And I got a quote for that. And that should be able to go up to 1.7 gigabytes per second. That quote is 1,420. They just let me know the other day that they would not be able to get that until, I think they said November 11th, was it, Brian? Something like that?
Yes.
Because of shortages. The other quote was my ask. I said, hey, look, I'm an old electrician, and I know that wireless is going to, I know that thing's going to be outdated in 2 or 3 years, and we're going to be buying another one from you. But, what about fiber? Fiber has a tremendous amount of bandwidth on it. And they agreed that would be a more longer term solution, but the costs are higher. One thing that's not, if you look at those two quotes, the one for the wireless bridge does not include the labor, and they say it'll come off our block of time. We buy 10-hour blocks of time for $1,100 from them. And they said it'll take 2 or 3 hours for a technician or two to set that up. The other one is going to take, 2 men for, most of the day. So the labor isn't quite as apparent on this one. It's probably a few $100s more on the lower quote. So my question is, what do we want to do here?
I have a tendency to go with, I guess, the more expensive one, because I suspect it's going to be more reliable and probably be longer of value for the technology that changes. Like you said, the wireless thing is probably going to be outdated in a couple of 3 years.
Yeah. My experience is any technology you buy now is already outdated.
Yes.
Depending on exactly what they're getting, it should be good for 5 to 7. So figure on that.
Okay.
My concern is if it's, my experience with these at the college is that for that distance, they're usually line of sight, and heavy snow and that sort of thing can sometimes be an issue. So I'd like to have them sort of speak to that before if we were to decide. I usually like wireless, but that can be an issue.
Well, so what were you saying with the drawbacks to it?
If it's a line of sight wireless,
I believe it is.
then heavy snow can actually interrupt it potentially. Or even really heavy rain.
Or I was going to say rain or ice, right?
Well, ice shouldn't be a problem because it's up under the eave, so it shouldn't get iced. But anything that's really heavily affecting that line of sight could be a problem. So,
But, you know, we have the camera back there now for the back of the highway, you know, looking at the parking lot of the highway garage, the security camera. And I got to tell you, it was quite entertaining the other day when it looked like a bee was trying to, you know, start a nest on it. It looked like an eagle flying by, you know, but it was a bee.
I would actually probably go with the wireless. One thing, even in, you know, say 3 to 7 years, you're really only swapping out that $750. So even over 10 years, it should still come out a little cheaper. The technology is good. I just wanted to speak to that, you know, bad weather issue, potential issue.
Right.
If they say that's not a problem, then I like the wireless.
And, you know, the other thing is too, to that point, David, is that, you know, there's 8-port switches in there, and there's other in that wired one, there is other technology in there that could time out as well, that have to be replaced. You know, there's a, you know, $300 switch, and, you know, there is some cost that could change there.
Jim, one quick question on the fiber cable. The majority of the cost is 2 blocks of 10-hour things,
Right.
$1,100, $2,200. So are they thinking it's going to be 20 hours of labor to run that wire?
You know, the wire is wired in with the existing Cat5, with a cable TV line, with a telephone line. So, you know, they look at it and it's an unknown. You know, they don't know if it's twisted in there, if they're going to run into hell.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
So you know, and I think that's why they went with the wireless initially, because I think that, like, look, this is easy. We can just put this up and it goes.
Okay.
So I don't know. What do you guys, this thing we could just do, you know, I don't even need the board approval, I don't think, to do this, but I did want to get your opinions on it because it is a change. David, you're a technology guy. You're saying you think the wireless
Yeah,
will be fine.
we did something similar at Ulster to get to the highway department back there, but they didn't have any wiring directly there at all. So it wasn't an option other than wireless unless they're going to pull up the paving. If the conduit's in good shape and they can run through the conduit, I mean, it's an option, but
The conduit's in great shape. And the
Yeah.
question is what's twisted in there and what can we pull and not? There is a pull line through it, I believe. But,
Yeah.
you know,
But
it's a
long,
crapshoot.
it's a long pull.
Yeah. I mean, if it's wrapped around once, you're done.
right.
You know, so I don't know how they put it in there and how they installed it.
Jim, I will say that is all brand new line when they did that renovation on the front
Right.
office there, so it should pull, and I think there's a spare pull line in there right now.
Right.
When we all ran that new with the renovation on the roof system on the front office and whatnot, but anyway, whatever the case, the sooner the better. My secretary is pulling her hair out with getting work done, so.
Would they be able to get to the wired solution sooner since they don't have to?
No,
depend on-
I'll have to talk to him about that. Would that be the preference of the board, that whatever we can do sooner? I know that Brian and Sierra are very frustrated about it.
That would be my take. Do whichever ones get you in operation quicker.
Okay.
Yeah. I would
Yeah,
agree with that.
the money wasn't that different. That's fine.
You know, I think it's going to be a $1,200 difference at the end of the day or something,
Right.
but
Well, that's not even including the couple hours eaten up. That would be out of the block of time we already have.
well, that's what
Think
I'm figuring. Yeah,
yeah.
but
So-
yeah. So, you know, let me see what they say. Okay, and I'll just make a decision and do whatever one I can get in quicker,
Good.
Good.
if that works for you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I am now, let's see what else I got here. Just make sure I don't have anything. Before we go to committees, I want to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss the employment history of an employee. Can I get a second for that?
Second that.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, can you put us into executive session, David? We're going to lose you all for a little
I'm
bit of
going
a
to-
while.
Throw everybody else back into the waiting area. And if you're still there when we're done, I'll bring you back.
This is just for the town board and for Brian.
Brian Stan. Okay.
Okay? Make that motion.
You have to excuse me for a second. I'll be back.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone, for hanging out there. We are, I made the motion to come out of executive session and Drew seconded it.
But make sure Dawn's there before we continue.
yeah, I see your name, but don't see your face yet.
Yeah, okay.
There she
I'm
is.
here. My computer's been cutting out, so I cut the video to help with that, keep the sound, so I can keep the
okay.
sound.
That's Scott using all the broadband in Sampsonville.
Yeah,
I don't know, the last few meetings, I've been losing some of the conversation a little bit, so that's why I've been doing that, but, okay, so you out of executive session at 9:04.
Yep, I made the motion, Drew seconded.
Okay,
All right, do we want to wait for Vicky or what?
I'm back.
okay.
Okay,
So I'll make a motion to authorize the supervisor to engage Michael Richardson in looking at modifying our employee, what was the name, the EPCM document.
I'll second that.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, so there's something for me to
can you
do.
repeat that motion, engage Michael?
Engage
Richardson?
Michael Richardson to modify the EPCM document.
EPCM document.
Yes,
Employee practices and
compliance
compliance.
manual.
No, it's not in that.
No, it's the other.
No, it's the pandemic manual. I'm sorry, you guys got the wrong thing, I think there.
The plan for operations for communicable
Yes,
diseases.
yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I'm glad I asked then.
I make a motion, we rescind that last motion.
Yes,
Well,
Second?
I don't think you need to rescind it because I'm still
Amend it.
writing it.
All right.
So engage Michael Richardson to modify the plan for,
Operations for communicable diseases.
yes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Do we need to vote on that or are we clear, Dawn?
well, just do the all in favor thing.
All in favor?
I
Opposed? Great. Thank you. Let's move on to committees, commissions, and department reports. Cable franchise. We
Yeah.
haven't done anything on, I'm waiting for Spectrum to let me know what it costs to do build out in different neighborhoods in the town with the goal of completing town build out. And if we end up with, under the idea that if we, at the end of the day, end up with excess of ARPA funding that we can't use anywhere else, or we choose to use, we can use it for a Spectrum cable build out.
Can we also have them look at a booster for Sampsonville?
Yeah, there you go.
There's no reason why the quality should be that bad out there.
That's at Scott's house.
Parks and Rec, Scott.
So we did not meet. We are meeting, and I'm not going to say November, definitely December. We will have a presentation for the board for park fees, recreation fees, everything for start 2022.
Great. Brian, Highway.
Jim, I just had a quick question before I give my report. That LHI local highway inventory report, did you have that on the agenda or no? I know Sierra sent it over a while ago. I know there's been a lot going on, but
I
If
have
not-
not.
Oh.
No.
okay. I had that on my list here, but anyway, that's basically adjusting road mileage for the town. It's a report that I have to give every year. And there was a few little minor changes. There was one road that wasn't on our inventory, little piece of road, DeWitt Road off of Brown Road that borders Rochester, town of Rochester. But anyway, I think we have time to do that next month. But
Right.
anyway, we'll
She
check
gave
on
that
that.
to me so soon after the last meeting that it got
Yeah.
buried. Sorry.
yeah, no problem. No, that the highway's been been busy. We've been continuing to replace culvert pipes on roads for set for paving.
Yeah.
If we have a good winter months here, we've spent a lot of time. There's been a tremendous amount of culverts up on Bostock Road, and I want to thank all the people on that road for dealing with us with the closures. And we've been accommodating mail as best as we can and everything. And I've only had, I think, one complaint that we got rectified as far as mail being delivered. But anyway, highway's been busy doing that and closing out a road work for the year. We got a tiny little bit to do this coming. Hopefully next week we'll be through with the bulk of it. A little bit of patchwork going in the winter to true up some of our rough spots. But anyway, we did have a meeting with SLR in respect to the culvert pipe replacements on Red Maple Bostock. The designs are moving forward. Ashokan Watershed and Soil and Water, Adam from Soil and Water, we had a meeting, and we have a preliminary design that we were going over in respect to Red Maple. And I hate to even bring up this word, but the word berm come up, the lay of land there on Red Maple. The proposed adjacent property owner on the inlet side there, just with the lay of the land in order to accommodate the crossing to surpass future flows and not even meeting the 100-year or the future 100-year. But anyway, there would have to be some sort of I'm going to call it, the berm is not the proper term. It's very low. It's basically 3 feet by 8 feet wide and basically channeling that water. And it's going to be designed to withstand overtopping because it may happen in future flows. But we're looking at the Bostock Road location, and it's a similar situation there, but there is possibly some other avenues for overflow crossings under Bostock Road without elevating that road and affecting the first house on the right off of 28 there that recently sold. I did contact the new owner a couple days ago, and we're going to meet out there just to go over our intentions there and hopefully rectify the overtopping in them locations. But anyway, the design's moving forward. There's been a lot of input from all parties on this, but we're looking forward to mitigating these two areas. And I think that's about it.
Well, that sounds good. Thanks. Good to know. Drew, what do you got for police commission there?
Dawn, did Chief Ryan send you anything?
I did not get anything.
Okay, and I don't, he didn't send it to me either, and I was not able to attend the last police commission meeting last week, so I don't have anything to report at this point in time.
Okay. Moving on to Dawn.
Town clerk's office took in $63,605.57, which was due to the cable franchise fees was $37,353.72. I also have the fire company. September calls was 4 auto accidents, 1 structure fire, 4 mutual aid, 3 automatic alarm, 8 wires down, 3 EMS assist, 1 carbon monoxide, 1 hazardous materials, and 1 landing zone. The first aid squad, which was 42 calls for the month, 16 to Shokan, 11 to Boyceville, 9 to Olive Bridge, 3 to West Shokan, 2 to Shandaken, and 1 to Stone Ridge. And I do not have Barry's report either, so.
Thank you, Dawn. Oh, Barry's been getting in late lately. I have to,
Yeah. So you'll catch up on it though.
I know. Scenic Byway, David.
There was no meeting and I don't have anything to report.
Okay. CAC, Vicky.
So the Conservation Commission was going wanted to do a presentation to the board about the climate smart community certification, but they put that off given the budget time. They're in the process of designing a flyer to send out to the community about weatherization and things that people can access at little or no cost. And they're planning a workshop at the library. And the next meeting is tomorrow.
Great.
Jim, is it okay if I mention something to Vicky?
Sure.
Vicky, on the letter that they sent to the Climate Smart, to the town board concerning the Climate Smart.
Yes.
When you meet with them, I have two issues with this letter. They mentioned that they took a leadership role in getting certain things done for getting the bronze thing, and of the things they mentioned, 5 of those they had nothing to do with. The town board did it. So I think in the whenever they present this, they need to make sure they're clear on who's doing what.
I think that communication needs to happen when they do the presentation at the board and not for me to bring it up in their meeting.
Okay.
There's some sensitivities there.
Okay. Then I'll reserve those comments till then.
And there's another thing that you can bring up to them. And that is that we have a 1-year contract with Direct Energy that is providing the town with 100% renewable electricity at 6 cents a kilowatt hour. It's a really, very affordable deal right now. We haven't been able to, we've had a lot of problems in dealing with them on a couple of issues. They keep charging us sales tax. We keep sending them our sales tax certification that we don't get charged sales tax, and they're very non-responsive. They did a very aggressive sales call for us to lock in earlier this year, and I point blank told them if they can resolve the sales tax problem and have somebody from customer service that can remedy this problem, then, I'd be willing to talk to them. And that kind of scared them off because the sales department is not the real company, I don't think. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because when we talked about community choice aggregation, the entire idea was to have that in place so that we would have renewable energy by the time this contract runs out. This contract runs out next month. I don't know what we're going to do. I looked out for other parties, ESCOs, they call them, energy service companies, and the pricing was really high for renewable. So they've put us in this situation now, and I'm afraid it's going to end up costing us. So I need them to give us some very aggressive ideas on what to do next month, because they put us in this situation by leading us to believe that we would have a different program in place now.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. That's my 2 cents. Anybody else? Zoning, Drew.
I canceled our formal meeting last month and asked the committee to attend the public hearing on the STR law, which I believe a number of them did. And we do meet next Thursday, the 21st. And I think what we'll probably do at that meeting is at least discuss some of the comments for that came in from the STR. And depending on how that goes, what I may do in November is present those comments to the town board for at least their thoughts, along with the town board's thoughts on the public hearing.
Yeah, that's kind of what we discussed in procedurally on how to move around on that, is that I forward all the comments I get and correspondence I get to Drew and to the zoning committee and to the board, and let the zoning committee kind of waft through them and come up with some ideas, and the town board should be able to look through them and figure out what we like or don't like, and then we'll put our heads together at that meeting, and then we can send it back to zoning to modify that regulation and then start that process over again with the public hearing and all.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Mr. Scott, Buildings and Grounds.
No report, sir.
No report. And, we kind of, I will say that, we looked into using Sourcewell for these things for like the salt shed, for the garage to expand the unheated storage of vehicles and move some of our vehicles out of the town office so that we could eventually renovate the inside of the town office. I mean, that's the broader plan of things. But that ARPA money came in. Simon Gruber can help us decide whether he thinks it's eligible for any or all of those projects. He did mention in one conversation that if we were to include a truck washing facility in one of the bays, that we could maybe, look at that as being something that would be eligible. So I'm going to wait for his feedback a little bit. He's going to do a site survey later in a month and take a look at the facility, and we can go from there. Yeah, and we're in a funny position right now with like everyone else in the world, is that interest rates are so low. I think they're going to start creeping up. We can get bonds really cheap, but the price of materials is so high. So I don't know whether it's better to move or not, at this point in time. The CWC had a project in Hawkesville that they put out to bid, and Lamont did the pre-design engineering. And, it was estimated to cost $6 million. And all their bids came back at like over $8 million, $8.8 million. A lot of it had to do with supply and demand because they couldn't fulfill the contract in the time that the contract was for without doubling up their labor crew, because they anticipated a 2 to 3 month delay in getting materials. And that put them into a shorter work season. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on out there that maybe it's best we're not involved in yet. But I do worry about the interest rates rising. And while we're talking about interest rates, I see Tom Plants is here. Tom, can you hear me? I don't want to wake you up there. You've been there a long time, man.
I almost bailed.
I know. And I did want to thank you, Tom, for that beautiful contract that you sent to us. We'll be discussing it when? I think the next budget meeting, Thursday. And it really was well crafted. And I do want to thank you guys for that. I also, I got an email from Ulster County Emergency Services, I think, about some of the possible grant funding from new funding that just came out. Kind of similar to other things we've seen, but geared toward floodplain. And I made an inquiry to them to see if they could clarify some questions I had. It might be something, I mean, it's like a Hail Mary, that if we could apply and get a funding grant for the firehouse,
Anything's worth a try.
Yeah, if it looks like something worth pursuing, I'll give you a shout and we can talk about it, and I'll show you what I find.
Okay.
Okay, it's it's a program that when Aaron was talking to us about it, the same program a year ago, we didn't qualify because our projects weren't large enough, but this seems scaled down a little bit. But I'll get more clarification on it, let you know. All right.
Okay. You're scaring me with that report, the CWC report about the cost of those projects. Because our firehouse project escalated from like 1.4 to 1.8 million due to COVID and price increases. And that's still a crystal ball number. I mean, who knows where that's going to end up.
I think the lesson in it, one of the things that we're reacting to that is to rebid and give it a longer time. So in other words, instead of a 1 year like contract for a contractor to do the job, we're going to look at giving them a 2 year and see if that brings the cost down. So they don't have to double up or triple up their manpower to get it in the construction season.
Our big holdup right now is our engineer. We're waiting for plans back from him. We did do a presentation to the planning board as a and something that I didn't know, but John Ingerman informed me that this really doesn't fall under a requirement for planning board approval or site plan approval. But we went ahead and showed it at the last meeting. Septic was one question on it. We had to move the septic tank due to the way the perk test came back. Right now, if you look at the map, there's no secondary septic or backup
Right.
septic supplied on there.
Right.
And one of the questions we had, could we consider the sewer project our backup septic? I don't know. This one of those unanswered questions.
You know,
at
and
least-
that,
We at least hope we would have had an entranceway in there by now, because we're looking at another small grant to, if we put the entranceway out and the culvert and the ditching as we could put that under another small grant and get some money from Ulster County for that, I believe.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, the issue of the sewer district being tied into that is still something that I am in conversation with CWC and the lawyers and New York City. More of us than them is if we can along that forced main, throw a couple of little lines up here and there. So if we do decide to go into it, we have that option. But this is something New York City will fight us on. They've already told me that, but I think we might be in some, it's something that I have an ongoing conversation with them about. And I've talked to Henry Lamont about maybe designing it so that just to stub up, and see what technology is needed to do it. And maybe not every lot gets it, but maybe every, quarter mile or something. I don't know. This is very early in the conversation with them.
Yeah, the existing firehouse right now is on the septic system, right? And it's
Yes.
considered a commercial building, even though it probably gets only about 10 flushes a week, that's.
Well, I mean, that's another thing that I brought up to them is that the firehouse in Shokan for the sewer district, same thing. It'll be looked at as a commercial entity as well as the town facilities because of the way sewer law is, district law is, I should say, is that it doesn't matter who's using it. You're going into a group of people who run it. It's almost like you have a small little town there. And we're the town of Olive, we're this other big entity. But if we're using something that those people are paying for, we have to contribute to it. I understand the logic of it. My discussion again with Henry Lamont in this was, well, look, when you put the water meter in, maybe there's a way it can be plumbed in to bypass the use when they're washing their trucks. So we're not paying for water that's not going into the sewer, because most of the water use will be for things like that, or watering plants or something like that, and-
Yeah, refilling the tank on the truck, things
Yeah.
like that.
Right. Yeah. We're not putting that back in the sewer. So I'm trying to work out a way they can recognize that, whether
At
it's,
least Shokan has the washers, so they're using some. Boyceville's not going to hardly use anything.
right,
The equipment washers.
right.
So there is actually some usage, but yeah, Boyceville's going to be a couple gallons a week.
Right. So, we'll see what happens. Anything else, anyone?
I did hear from Ms. Whitaker, and she decided to go a different way instead of presenting to us. So that's
Okay.
why she did not join us.
Okay. Anyone else want to comment, make a statement before we close down? All right, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting in memory of Wyatt Baker, Donald McDonald, and George Corey from Olive Bridge. George was a very talented, funny man, very entertaining.
Yes.
George what is his last name?
Corey. Koury, I believe. Let me see, I have
Yes,
it.
that's correct.
Okay,
I'll second the motion, Jim.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so closed. Thank you all for spending your Tuesday night with us.
Yes.
See you
All right.
Thursday.
Yeah, see you Thursday.
See you Thursday. We'll do it again. All right, thank you.
No, no.
Bye now.